that game, baby. No.
I see this game going really similar to last game. I can't will myself to pick against the Huskies, dude. I can't do it. I'm such a dude. I really
That's
am.
why we love you, bro.
They turn the ball over twice a game, and they've played every game at home this year.
I think we show them enough looks to where Alex Orji struggles with understanding where we're going to bring pressures.
All right, dog fans, before we hop into the show, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out, and we appreciate the support. Thanks to our sponsor, Simply Seattle, we'll be picking out one lucky new subscriber to win free Washington Huskies t-shirt and hat. To enter, just subscribe, drop a comment below letting us know that you've done it. You can be out there flexing that new Husky drip, that new Husky swag in no time. Plus, don't forget to check out Simply Seattle's QR code at the bottom of the screen, which will take you directly to their website for all your Washington Husky apparel needs. Good luck. Go Dogs. Thank you for everything.
Welcome to the Dubbed Up Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Flaunt. After a brutal loss to Rutgers, this week we're looking forward to Michigan. I got my guys Izzo and Noah with me. UW is a 2.5-point favorite at home against Michigan. Noah, what are you thinking?
Man, it's going to be a fun one, boys. Montlake, Saturday, 4:30, national game on NBC. Man, rematch of the national title game. A lot of new faces, though, man. I think Michigan had 13 players drafted. We had 10. I mean, dude, we got both teams got brand new offensive lines. I mean, these are two different teams than we saw in 2023, man. But I'll tell you what, that stadium is going to be absolutely rocking on
Sold
Saturday,
out.
man. Yep, 72,000 strong. One thing looking at this game, here's something kind of interesting. You don't see this very often. Michigan had 5 straight home games to start the year. So this will be their first road test of the year. And as we've seen, they've already had some quarterback controversy. They're going with a new quarterback. Like you said, Mike, Vegas is leaning UW in this game. It looks like the ESPN FPI is leaning UW in this game too. The matchup predictor. And man, it should be a fun one, man. There's a lot of money coming in from the sharps on UW. I think it has just a lot to do with some of the efficiency issues that the Michigan offense has had, and then the elite efficiency that UW's offense has had. So it's interesting. That's gonna be a fun game, and Montlake's, like I said, gonna be rocking on Saturday.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah, it really is. Izzo, what are you thinking, man? I know the Rutgers game was tough, especially for you, my guy.
Yeah.
But this is a great tell me this is not an opportunity for redemption.
It is the ultimate opportunity for redemption. Noah, that's a great call out. 5 straight home games for Michigan. This is the first one. And this is not the right environment to come into. Like, if the fans can find a way to channel 2 losses into pure anger, which is what I want. Of course, if you can't tell from my tweets lately.
I like it.
I think this could be real bad for them. It could go left for them. That being said, most mock drafts have them with 4 first-round picks next year.
So they still got some talent in the cupboards.
Yeah, they definitely do. I mean, it's on offense. They just had the Colston Loveland, and I'm sure we'll talk about the players individually, but he's their one offensive guy, and he's a tight end. I think everybody knows that Michigan's struggles this year have been on the offensive side of the ball. They're going to try to run the ball. They've done so pretty well. They have 2 really strong running backs. And that's how they're going to try to beat you, is just Malia, which is similar to last week. Although I will say, and I know Noah and I talked briefly about this, but I think we feel as though Rutgers' efficiency through the air is probably better than Michigan's.
A lot better.
It does play well for them that they are running offense, and that they're not as dependent upon timing in their offense with a really loud crowd. But if we can just key in and focus on that side of the ball, on just stopping the run, we can be really effective. So it's going to be crazy. It's going to be fun. It hopefully is a purge of just all the annoyance of the last 3 weeks. We'll see how it goes. We'll kind of get into this game more. I'm excited.
Yeah, that was definitely something I noticed watching the film, is that the the Michigan offense definitely struggles, and it starts at quarterback. And I think like I said, we've dealt with it in the past where you don't have the right guy pulling the strings on the offense, and it makes the whole offense less effective. And I think what we'll do is see Stevie B try to make that offense become very one-dimensional and see if this kid can beat us through the air. So starting with that, Noah, if you're looking at the UW defense, what do you want to see them do against this offense to make them one-dimensional, to make them struggle like they did towards the end of that Minnesota game last week?
Yeah, I think from a defensive perspective, man, we got to get after this O line, man. Like I said, they're all new. Dude, they've already given up, I think, 7 sacks on the year. I mean, it's just one of those games where you have to put pressure on him, and I think that's going to start too with confusing Alex Orji, the quarterback. Um, you'll see that. I think you'll see Belichick runs like some shell hide looks where you'll see kind of our safeties look like, oh, they're going to both drop back, but then you'll see Cam Fab come up in the box, late just to have some extra run support. Um, when you get into, when you start talking our defense, you're going to like look at the Michigan offense too, right? And dude, Michigan not only wants to run the ball, like they have to run the ball. They want to like pound you into submission. And so when you look at that, Orji, why I want you to confuse him is he only averages 3.7 yards per pass.
Wow.
So and the big thing with UW's defense, you have to force him to throw outside the numbers. Over 10 yards outside the numbers, he's completed 1 pass on the year. 1 pass. Everything is short, under 10 yards. He wants his athletes to get up and go. And I mean, you know what? He's got the athletes. So he's got that two-headed monster in Khalil Mulling and Donovan Edwards. If you guys all remember Donovan Edwards from last year.
Oh yeah. Oh, so well.
Yeah, in the championship. I mean, Mulling's averages 7.7 yards a carry. And dude, they're special though in the sense of this. They kind of flip the script when you guys remember when you guys remember the Wildcat back in the day? I think the Dolphins brought this out, but that's kind of what they do with Orji. He's not going to beat you with his big arm, but he is dangerous as it comes with his legs, man. He's 6'3", 235. And what he can kind of do is, you don't really know, if he's going to run the ball, he's going to go RPO with one of these running backs. So he can flip the script quick. And so I think the biggest thing is what you'll see from our defense. The last thing I want to say is you'll see another big bear front type defense, 3 big defensive linemen. It'll be tough to shut the running game down, but I think containing it's going to be like the key to winning this game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Izzo?
Yeah, for me, I think a really key factor in this game, and God willing, it looked great last week, is the health of Carson Bruner. Because again, this is another game where you're looking to your linebackers to make a big impact. They answered the call last week, so did the defensive line. It's the same thing this week. Those are the guys you're leaning on because the wide receivers, let alone they struggle through the air from the passing, like from the quarterback in general. Their wide receivers have been really not that great this year too. So they don't get a ton of separation. Put those guys on islands, like we said last week. We don't need to go crazy with changing how we're thinking about things. I think you have the right defense coordinator scheming for this game. I tell you what. And again, this is just another nod to Steve Belichick with this rotational defensive front where there's so many guys playing to strengths, so much rotation. It plays so well in the Big Ten, man. Like it just, you have so many fresh bodies that where in prior years, a loss like Javon Parker, God willing, it's a big loss. No doubt about it. He is an undeniable force. We feel that less coming into this year, but we're getting to that point in the season where injuries really matter. A weakness that I would love to exploit in this game is the right tackle, Evan Link. I'm sure there will be Michigan fans that watch this. We ate tons of crow last year and got dogged, and we called out Mike. I think we called out Mike Samstrill, and at least I did, and that was a terrible call. But Evan Link has really.
I remember that. I think I
that was like my.
I think I jumped on board too, though, bro.
Yeah. But he's been fielding criticism. It's not just like PFF grades or something like that. I think him on the right tackle, He's been a little bit of a liability, kind of up and down in his play. He's just a sophomore. He's big. He's 6'6", 330 pounds. But they had a big battle in camp at right tackle, and he ended up winning. And his coach is having to field on radio, field questions about that decision. And anytime that's happening, that's not a good sign. And I think their Michigan fans and just their team in general are trying to find an answer for that position, and I think we can attack it and exploit it. So I wonder if they'll try to run to the left side more, if it's going to impact their run direction. But that's where I'd like to see us attack from a defensive side. Put their wide receivers on islands. Don't fear them. Just don't get beat over the top and get surprised. Let them try to run. Let's just fix the things that we did on offense in the red zone that we didn't do against Rutgers. Let's fix that in this game, and I think we can take the W here.
All right, so you brought up the offensive line because they do have new starters across the board. Noah, let's dig a little bit more into that as far as what we want our defense to be able to do against these new starters, because I think that might be a place where we can exploit them defensively.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what's interesting is like, Sharon Moore is he's the head coach now, and he was the offensive line coach there. And they won, if you guys remember, I think they won the Joe Moore Award in 21 and 22. So I mean, Michigan is known for big road grading offensive line. The biggest thing that I see with them is if we're gonna run the bear front, which I think you almost have to with them, is you have to get up in these guys quick, man. They're big bodies. But are they quick enough to play with our edges, with a Durfee, with a Voitanufi? And that's where like a Voitanufi, for example, has a little bit of a leverage angle on them. Is he can get up under these big old 6'6", offensive tackles and guards. And so that's what I want to see. Penetration up the field. Don't go side to side with these guys and allow them to push you around. Get penetration up the field and get on Alex Orji quick, because if you don't, I promise you, it's going to be the same easy thing I said. If you allow him to get going, get that momentum, get rolling, dude. Alex Orji, dude, he will eat us alive, and it'll be a long game because what they'll be able to do is go first down, and he'll wear our defense down. And that's what you can't have, especially with a guy like Javon Parker not playing. Is you don't have that big body to make those big time plays. So you need the unit up front to really get up the field vertically and make those plays in the backfield.
That's a great call.
Are you more worried about him making plays though with his legs? Is what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Because I mean, you think he had like 86 yards through the air last week.
I think he's had 86 yards last week and 32 the week before. I mean, I'm not worried about his.
You're worried more like a Mateer situation where he's able to exploit the defense, because that killed us in that game.
I mean, yeah. Here's a really good point. Do you know that since Alex Orji's taken over the Michigan offense, they averaged 1.92 points per possession. Okay, but two of those have come off of a red zone turnover and a block punt in the red zone. So you take and that 1.92 points per possession, that averages like 80th in the country. If you take
those touchdowns are from special teams.
No, not special teams. But what I'm saying, it's very short field. So if you take those away, dude, they're like 130th in the country in like scoring efficiency and like moving the ball. So it's just, if you can make them go the distance, he really struggles to put a full drive together. So where I'm going with all this is you have to get him behind the sticks. That was a big thing. Remember, they used to talk about with Cam Newton. He always liked to play in front of the sticks. And believe me, I'm not saying Orji to Newton, blah, blah, blah. What I'm saying, though, is a big body quarterback who can use his legs. He brings a different angle, to a defensive staff and how you game plan. You got to keep him behind the sticks, 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and longs. And then you'll make him have to throw the ball. And that's how they get into a lot of trouble, is when they have to throw the ball to get back in the game.
And that's what Izzo was just saying about having the NASCAR package, because if they're struggling at tackle or anywhere blocking, the NASCAR package is going to exploit that, because that's what it meant for.
I thought you were just about to drop the big body bends.
Oh,
that's what you were just about to say. Like, oh shit, he's on a roll. No, I love that. The other thing too is that they turn the ball over a little bit too. Yep. I think they're averaging two giveaways a game. If we get two, I'll tell you this right now. If we get 2 turnovers on defense, they're not winning that game. There
You ain't winning that game, baby. No. Come on. Holster.
All right. Do we have anything else that we want to talk about as far as the UW defense and the Michigan offense? We ready to move on to the opposite? Let's go look at the
Contain
UW
the run
offense
game, baby.
and let's look at the UW offense and how they're going to try to move the ball on this Michigan defense, which still is pretty good. Noah, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah. When you start looking at this film and look at this team, man, they lost like we talked about. They lost a lot on their defense, but dude, they still bring back a lot of bodies, man, especially in their interior defensive line. They got the law firm of Graham, Grant, and Benny, still there, and they're all
that's an underrated.
That was great right there. I like that.
The law firm.
But man, dude, they're absolutely tough as nails up front. I mean, if you want to watch a defensive lineman, go look at the double nickel, man. Graham, he is an absolute game wrecker. If he somehow ends up a Seattle Seahawk, I will not complain. But man, I mean, dude, they get tons of pressure. And what is the biggest thing? People always talk about getting pressure on a quarterback. And what do they say? Oh man, our edges. We got 2 big edges. They get there, but dude, these guys get a ton of pressure right up the middle, right in the quarterback's face. I forgot to write it down, but I think they already have like 7 sacks. I think 4, 5, 6 tackle for losses. Through their first 4 or 5 games. I mean, they are an absolute dynamite interior defensive line, and so D'Angelo Titi Ali and guard and Hatchet and Enoch Famahi. I mean, they're going to have their hands full. But this is the kind of game, man, where you represent here. This is where you start to see like guys get tape that they use in the NFL, and this is the type of defensive line that you kind of get that for. But when I say these guys get all this pressure, you know how you get rid of pressure? You bring in a steady screen game. So these guys get up the field, you throw right over top of them. So this is something I don't think we've seen a ton this year from Jed. But man,
but should play into his hands.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, I think he's a smart enough play caller. Like, give me a steady dose of screen games and quick hitters from Will, man. Because the last thing we need is these guys to get up in Will's face. So if we can get a steady screen game, once we get into the red zone too, here's my other little point. Once we get into the red zone, and I think this is one of the big things why we're struggling to see this is when we get in the red zone, what happens to all the windows? What happens to all the holes? Everything tightens up, right? So this is where we just need to be a perfect game. We're on Montlake, no more mistakes, no more field goals. Finish in the red zone, and this defense will allow you to finish. I mean, yeah. So I just that's kind of where I'm at, man. Is a heavy dose of screen games just to kind of relieve some of that pressure from an elite defensive line like these guys have.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Izzo, what about you?
Yeah, they definitely struggle on giving up 3rd downs and 4th downs, and in the red zone. I think they're 61st in the country in opposing red zone scoring percentage. But I want to highlight the 3rd down conversion percentage and the 4th down conversion percentage. They teams pass on them a ton. So I don't know what that trend, like, I don't know what there is to glean from that. If like a lot of teams have been playing from behind, or if they're trying to get them into shootouts and, try to take Michigan out of their element by scoring, by passing, scoring quickly. But most teams pass a lot on them. I think opposing rush play percentage, is 36%. So that's just something interesting to think about. And it so far hasn't really worked against them necessarily. So I think it actually kind of alludes to what Noah's saying, like maybe the screen game, like longer drives, like you don't necessarily need to go deep downfield. I just wonder if they have some like exploitable guys in the back end that teams are trying to target. With that being said, we called it last week. I really wanted to see some of the end around stuff, some of the jet sweep stuff. So whether it's a screen, bubble screens, or whatever, or jet sweeps, I do agree with Noah. I would like to see some element of that. We haven't really busted it out. We didn't bust it out last week. We were super efficient anyways. Didn't need to, but I wonder if they were kind of saving some of that stuff.
Might be a perfect place for Giles Jackson to really be able to get some revenge on his old team.
I amen to that.
Yeah, I think Izzo, to your point, man, I think they've had some secondary issues with injuries, and so something I think you're spot on, man. I think that's what attack. I mean, if everyone else is attacking it, I guarantee you we'll see it in the films. And I mean, their defensive ends have struggled too. I mean, I think they only have like a half a sack, between their defensive ends on the year. So it doesn't
That's
seem
crazy because
like
they got 13 as a team.
yeah. So I think they're not getting a ton of pressure from their edges, but a lot of it, I'm telling you, comes up the field and on blitzes. Because if you remember, man, Michigan, dude, they want to put pressure on you. Pretty much, it's one of those. They're one of those defenses that like, let's see if you don't make a mistake, and that's kind of the Michigan football and the Michigan brand. So I don't think we'll see anything different on Saturday.
So they got a DB
I think
Mangum is out or is questionable. I'm not sure if he's a starter, but I'm 90% sure Moore is who's out for the year with a knee.
And Will Johnson was hurt until this past week, so
Will Johnson's their guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he not playing?
Well, I think he came back in limited snaps versus Minnesota last week.
He's not on their injury reports. I'd expect to see him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
I know the one matchup I'm curious to see is Josiah Stewart against whatever egg she decides to line up again on. So if he's playing against McCree or against Azopardi, who leads them in sacks. He's got 4 on the season.
Is he an edge or a D lineman?
He's a D end.
Oh, okay. I must have missed him because I had them only like a half a sack on their edges. I must have missed that guy.
Well, and I'm trying to remember the defense that they play too. They might play a defense similar to us where your defensive end plays inside the edge, kind of like a 4-3 type thing.
Yeah, no worries. What's his name again?
Or 3-4, sorry.
Oh, Josiah Stewart. You know what, man?
Yeah.
I completely looked over him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, good pickup, Mike.
Well, that's the one that gets kind of stuck out, but it doesn't look like anybody else on the edge is really doing much.
Right. That's a good call. I mean, it feels like there's two, like you can either look at it as a positive or a negative. It just depends upon how you view this matchup of our offense versus their defense. The positive side is that we're very efficient and we have the speed to go sideline to sideline with those players. And they struggle against the pass. So if we decide to go air it out and just avoid Will Johnson or whatever it is, there's a pathway there. If you try to go sideline to sideline, it seems like there's a pathway there. Where it seems like we're all in agreement on is the pathway is not inside the tackles.
Yeah.
So do you view that as a positive or negative? Because I don't typically view that as a very positive thing when I'm thinking about how our offense has struggled in the red zone, that we have to like potentially double, like, I don't even know how do you account for 2 top 30 round, top 30 picks in the NFL in the middle. This feels like it's like Texas last year. Like, I don't know. It's gonna be a challenge. It's gonna be another chess match.
These guys, I think Graham is definitely a top 30 pick, top 35, something like that. The other 2 guys,
Grant.
Grant. I mean, he's probably not top 30, but I mean, he's definitely a draftable player. I mean, he's a good freaking player.
I've seen 2 mocks that got him in the first today.
Really? Grant too? Wow.
Yeah. Will Johnson bounces somewhere between top 5 to top 30.
Wow.
But both I saw 2. Not every. I'm sure there's other mocks that don't have him in there, but most that we know is both of them are first or second round guys, probably.
Hey man, I still remember Grant absolutely flat back in one of our guards last year. I think it was Kalepo in the national championship and getting the sack on Penn.
Yeah, that was a rough game though. Just in general, that was a rough game for the offense.
The physicality that this team. I mean, here's the deal. Michigan historically, I'm telling you, they want to pound you on both sides of the ball in the trenches into submission. It's like one of those things where like, okay, you hang around in the first, you hang around in the second. That's fine. But guess what? In the third, you're getting tired. And then in the fourth, we just put it on you. And so if we can just hang around and stay with these guys and put it on them as well, dude, this game, we'll get into our predictions, but I think this game can go the Dogs' way for sure.
just like Vegas. Vegas feels the same way, and I think that like I said, we've watched enough of the Dogs the last few weeks to see how efficient they can be. Like I said, we'll see it in stretches. It's just not getting it all done at once. And I think that this is a perfect trap game for a team like Michigan, where they're going to come in here. They are still flying high, even though they barely got by Minnesota. And I think we're going to be able to exploit some of the things that they just don't do as well, because we're definitely going to be the best team they've played besides Texas, who beat the pants off of them.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? All right. Is there anything else that we want to go on? We want to cover before we get into predictions?
Yeah, the last thing I'll say is, and I don't want to pass this up because I think it's the big deal. I mean, USC went into the Big House and barely lost to Michigan, but dude, Michigan's a different team outside of the Big House, and I don't want our viewers and listeners to forget this. Alex Orji, this is his first game he started on the road. Like, that's a big deal, man. It's going to be loud. I mean, this will be the loudest environment they've seen, all year by far. Obviously, all year by far, even in the Big House, because uh, when those guys are on offense, man, they don't have the dogs barking at them. So I mean, it's going to be the environment is going to be ruckus, and I think the environment's going to give us that 12th man that will end up coming victorious for the Dogs.
Okay. All right. Izzo, you got anything else to add before we move on?
No. I think that I want to get into my prediction.
You're ready for Saturday, aren't you?
Yeah, I want to get this passed. I was just looking over some of the notes we had for the Rutgers game, and it's just like, man, it was pretty spot on about what we were scared of. Don't be Wazoo 2.0. Don't let penalties ruin the game. You have to win the game in special teams. I'm like, God, dude, that's exactly what we lost. Anyways.
Yep. All right. I got a question for you guys. Have you ever wanted to walk into Husky Stadium where there's 70,000 people and be the best looking person in the stadium? If you have, make sure you go to Simply Seattle, hit that QR code. Our good friends at Simply Seattle hooked us up and we look great. You see that QR code? Make sure you snap that, go check it out. Get all the Husky gear you want, plus Mariners, Sonics, Storm, all that stuff. Everything at Simply Seattle.
While you're at it, be sure to check out the Dub Discord community with over 2,700 members. It's the largest organized chat room for all things Washington Husky athletics. You want insider access? Our VIP membership unlocks exclusive chat rooms and rumors you won't find anywhere else. Hit the QR code on the screen and join the conversation today. Go Dogs. Thank you for everything.
So we're going to look forward to our predictions for the game on Saturday. And I guess we'll start with Noah. What's going on?
Yeah, man. All right. This is my prediction. They are going to you're going to see 40 plus runs, maybe 45. It's going to be a game where at times it's going to be exhausting because they're going to get us for 6, 7, 8 straight runs. And you're going to think we're like our defense is on the field all game. I think we show them enough looks to where Alex Orji struggles with understanding where we're going to bring pressures. I think this is where Stevie B gets another paycheck and dials up an absolutely phenomenal game plan. Michigan will score some points, but they don't get over 20 points against us. 22-19 Dogs. Let's go.
There we go.
Oof.
All right, Izzo.
So I see this game going really similar to last game. I'm really concerned about how this game looks as a get right game for the play calling inside the red zone, because what I wanted to see running backs getting multiple chances inside the 5. I think we storm down. I don't think we correct the blunders that we've had in the red zone, and it's going to be kind of frustrating again. And so, man, I can't will myself to pick against the Huskies, dude. I can't do it. I'm such a dude. I really
That's
am.
why we love you, bro.
God, dude. There's so many ways to beat Michigan in this game. There are. The things that play really well into our hand is that it's at home. It's going to be loud as hell, and they turn the ball over. They turn the ball over twice a game, and they've played every game at home this year. And so there's just like, there's all these, it's such a tough game to call. I can't do it. I got to pick the Huskies. 24-21, Dogs, Grady Gross field goal to correct
I like
himself.
that.
I know I called it last week.
Ooh.
If he just makes one of those, that game looks different. I'm gonna give my boy the nod. I'm gonna give Grady Gross the nod and say that we win 24-21. They'll score 3 times, but we'll end up being victorious in large part due to issues caused by crowd noise and us getting right special teams. I don't think it's going to be because we get right in the red zone.
So hold on. So you're
Okay.
saying, just to be clear, you're saying 21-21 and we kick a game-winning field goal?
Correct.
Oh,
that would be some redemption, especially
on national TV too, man. You gotta love that.
And the story shifts. Yeah.
So I'm looking at it like this. It's going to be 64 degrees outside, partly sunny, so we're not going to have to worry about crazy rain and weather and stuff like that. I think you're going to see us get right offense. I think it's going to still be a struggle because Michigan is still a good defensive team, but I do see us pulling it out, and it's crazy because it's close to Izzo's score. I'm looking at 24-20, and I think that you're going to see Stevie B in that defense really be able to shut Michigan down. And we're going to really expose a young quarterback to what it's like to come into Montlake and have 70,000 fans going nuts. And I think that's why you're going to see us end up winning 24-20.
Okay.
All right.
I like it, boys. Are you guys nervous? Are you guys nervous
Yes.
for this game? 4-2 versus 3-3?
Yes.
I mean, I think you're nervous. I mean, what kind of makes the Big Ten and going into this conference so exciting is nervous, dude. I'm nervous against Michigan. I'm probably getting nervous against USC, Penn State, Oregon. We play Ohio State when we play
Basically the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, no, but I'm just saying, like, I mean, Iowa at Iowa. I mean, these are big time games, man. I mean, that's why playing in the Big Ten is so freaking big. I mean, it's all puns intended, I guess. But it's there's
Welcome
so
to
many.
the big show.
I know. Hey,
if we can just turn
big show.
If we could just turn the corner though, like mentally, get over the little mistakes, I think we have a chance to beat all those teams you brought up. I think the ones that are going to be the toughest are going to be the Oregons and the Penn States. But I think that skill wise, and when you see Jed Fish's system actually running sharp, it's a dangerous, dangerous system. And he has all the tools here to make it happen. I mean, look at Denzel Boston. Denzel Boston is his McMillan. You know what I'm saying? And he brought Jonah Coleman with him. We have the guys to be able to do it. We just have to turn that corner. And once we do, it's going to be hard to stop us.
Yeah, I agree, man. This, to your point, like, this is a trap game for them.
Mm-hmm.
It is a trap game for them. It's
the next 3 weeks is going to be like that for our opponents.
Exactly. Let's get after it, dude.
All right.
I'm ready to Doog again. I've been holding in my Doog.
Don't hold in your Doog.
Let's go get a dub, boys.
Lead to problems moving forward.
What'd you say, Noah?
I just said, let's go get a dub, boys. I mean,
come on, baby.
Dude.
I agree. All right. Is there anything else you guys want to get into, or are we going to call this a pod?
Mike, I love your positivity and your energy, bro. I just want to say that on the pod, on the record.
Hey, man, you got to have it. You got to have it, even though they better not continue to make those penalties, because I don't want to be wrong again. I really wanted to see that 31-7 happen. I'm convinced that TT Ali foul doesn't happen, and we go down there and score early in that game. It's a completely different game than how it turned out to be.
God, I hope these refs don't just throw their friggin' foot in this game. That would be so fucking annoying.
I'm not gonna lie, I do kind of feel like the Big Ten refs don't like us. I'm just saying that. I'm putting it out there. But anyway,
the broadcasters sure don't.
Yeah, they really don't. Make sure you go join the podcast. Join the Discord. It's 2,700 strong. All the news, all the Dugan, all the frustration. It's literally like football therapy for us. It's happening in there. It's free to join, but if you pay a little bit of money, you can get all the inside information long before it comes out. So for Izzo, for Noah, I'm Mike Flaunt, and this is the Dubbed Up Podcast. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs, baby. Go get redemption, baby. Come on, boys.
Go Dogs. Oh.
The dog pound.
Yeah.
Dog pound.
Yeah,